Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Punked Out Podcast. Today, I thought I'd try a different format than my usual, which is an interview with an artist. And I thought it would be fun to just have a little mini Q&A. So if you sent me a question on Instagram or TikTok, I'm going to go ahead and answer it here and just yap away. And I thought that would be fun. Let's get into it. All right, so I have the questions here. The first question I got was, what's your biggest musical influence? You can only pick one. Now I know how it feels when I ask people that question. That is just, it's impossible. I need to stop asking that question because that's really hard. But I've always defaulted, like if somebody asked me, like, what's your biggest influence? I would always say Simple Plan because at such a young age, I was so into them and I was absolutely obsessed with them. And I knew all their albums front to back. And I was just so, mystified by them as people. And I wanted to be just like them. You know, I would actually stick with this answer because when I was younger, like even in high school and stuff, I just wanted to copy Simple Plan. I wanted to wear what they wore, like brands like Atticus and Macbeth and Role Model. I think Role Model was Pierre's brand. I just wanted to dress like them and be in a band because of Simple Plan and because of the they had a DVD called A Big Package for You. And that was a DVD where they kind of just showcased their behind the scenes stuff for recording No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls. And I think the first like world tour that they had, I don't know if it was the first, but I think it might have been the first. Like they went to Australia and Japan and all that, and they toured for that album. And I watched it every time I had a spare moment. And I was so young, so I was seriously absorbing them. So, yeah, to make a long-winded answer for that question, I would say Simple Plan. I was hesitant in the beginning because I was listening to Blink-182 at around the same time, kind of like third grade-ish. And they had a huge influence on me too, like musically especially. I had my MP3 CD player and I just downloaded all the Blink-182 songs off LimeWire and just listened to that every day. There's a lot, but I'm going to go with Simple Plan for biggest musical influence. Next question was, what was the first pop punk song you ever heard? What was the first pop punk song you ever heard? That's really hard to try and remember. When I think of an early memory, I would say Apple Shampoo by Blink-182. Honestly, that could have been the first. I'm not sure if it was actually the first. Like come on, like that's really hard. I'm 30 now, so I would really gotta think back. But I would say I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with Apple Shampoo by Blink-182. And it was actually my cousin. She had it in her CD player. She was the biggest Blink-182 fan, and I just wanted to be her. I wanted to be just like her. And I remember we did the headphone share thing. Like she like put it up next to my ear, and I was like mystified by Apple Shampoo. Like if you know that song, like just imagine like a little third grader like hearing that for the first time and being like, oh my god, my life is forever changed. Like it's so silly. But yeah, if that's the first thing that comes to my brain, I'm just gonna go with that. I think that's our answer there. Next question. Oh, this is from my lovely friend. What's the first emo song you remember hearing? So the last question was, what was the first pop punk song you ever heard? And what's the first emo song you remember hearing is this one. And I don't know, I feel like people have different kind of definitions of what emo even is, but I'm just gonna like, trust my own gut and what was emo to me. I I do want to say that Simple Plan was emo. I'm going to say Simple Plan was emo. Like, if you listen to the lyrics in No Pads, No Helmets, like, it's emo. And I'm just gonna go with like the most emo song of all of those songs. Would probably be Perfect. Um, yeah, Perfect is super emo. Oh, but did I hear Good Charlotte first? I'm not very good at this. Because Good Charlotte was so emo. Well, you know what? Who would ever know? I would say if it wasn't Perfect from No Pads, it would be something off of Good Charlotte and like Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous album. I think those two I was listening to at the same time. And I also watched Fuse a lot as a kid. I loved Fuse so much. That was my MTV more than MTV. So, and I know Simple Plan, Good Charlotte, Blink, they were all on Fuse all the time. So, yeah, it's tough to answer. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I realize now what I do to these artists, and make them rack their brain. This is not easy. But I'm gonna go with Perfect by Simple Plan. We're gonna go with that. Next question says, you love the best music. If you had to choose a favorite band, who would it be and why? So, yeah, I feel like there could be a difference between biggest musical influence and favorite band. Also, not easy to answer. But I have been saying lately, if I'm going to talk like modern, oops, if I'm going to talk like modern day pop punk or emo bands, I've really been obsessed with Real Friends. Something about Real Friends kind of transports me back to when I first heard Simple Plan or I first heard Good Charlotte and Blink. Like, they have such a unique sound. But like, some people could say like, oh, all pop punk sounds the same. Like, yeah, it's like all of it is extremely similar across the board, but some of them kind of just like, if you grew up listening to it and you hear a new band and it kind of like sparks a memory from past bands that you listen to, it can really do something to you. Like, I think it's really cool. And Real Friends does that for me. He said I didn't have to just pick one, so I can, if we're talking about another modern band like Hot Mulligan, the story so far. I'm gonna stick with Real Friends because I can go on forever with a list. So I'm gonna stop at Real Friends for that. But obviously Simple Plan was my favorite band growing up, but also Blink-182. And if anyone has seen my TikTok account, like especially right now, we're kind of like counting down to the One More Time tour, which I'm going to the show on the 6th, and I'm so stoked for that. I'm so stoked for that I'll be just listening to Blink in my car now and just like visualizing hearing that live at the concert. I just start crying. Like, I'm just driving and crying listening to freaking Apple Shampoo. Like, I know they're not going to play Apple Shampoo, but just being in their presence. Like, I love Tom and Travis and Mark. Like, I looked up to them. They were my role models growing up. So it's emotional. It's emo. I get really emo about music and bands that I love. It's just, it comes with the territory. I don't know. All right. I love this next question. It's from some of my favorite people in the world, the Sad Boys. Hi, guys. Um, they asked me, what was the first EDM concert you've been to, and who did you see perform? I love this question because the first like EDM show I've ever been to, my first introduction into raves or anything like that was EDC. My best friend, his name is Hardell, and he was like a big raver. Like he would go to raves like back in, I think like 2016. Like he would go, and we were roommates in like 2018, 2019, and I just wanted to do everything with him. And I like looked up to him like with like music is what we would like bond over and stuff. And I really, really wanted to go to a rave, and I've never been to one. And I was just like, fuck, I want to experience a rave. Like, I was like, dude, what if I just bought a ticket? Like, what if I just looked for someone selling and I went to EDC? Like, can I go to EDC with you? And we busted a mission. Like, he took me and drove me to this person selling these EDC tickets, or selling one EDC ticket, and we drove like an hour or something. He drove me, and it was like this nice girl. She sold me a ticket. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to EDC. I can hardly remember who the first performance was. Our first time at EDC. I'm gonna have to text Hardell and ask him that. Let's see if he remembers, but we were a little lit. But I do remember seeing Illenium for the first time, seeing Zed for the first time, San Holo for the first time, all at that EDC. Saw Dylan Francis for the first time. And it just opened up my world, and like the culture, the rave culture, the community, all the friends I made, all the fun I had with my best friend. Like, I was forever changed after that. I feel like I was born kind of like a free spirit, but after experiencing that, I became more of a free spirit. It was just amazing. And then I just became addicted to raves after that. You know, I went through like a whole phase there, but I'll still go. Like, I can't go as often as I used to. These bones can't do what they used to anymore. Who else did I see that just like blew my mind at that EDC? The Zed's performance was pretty life changing because, you know, the song Clarity, that song meant a lot to me and my best friend and like our group. And we seeing that live, and like thousands of people gathering, singing the words. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna start crying if I think about that for too long. Like, memories like that, you just can't replace that. There's nothing like it. And that's why I love live music. Like, no matter what genre, like, you see people come together through music and connect through music, and that's just like everything. Like, there's nothing like that energy. So yeah, that was my first EDM concert. EDC. Thank you, Sad Boys. Next question. That's kind of funny. Why is your hair purple? I know it's kind of faded right now, but it's been purple for like 5 years. At least just the money pieces. Like, all my hair isn't purple, but I've been purple for like 5 years. So it says, why is your hair purple? It could be your favorite color, but if not, I'm super curious. So I could get deep about it, honestly. Like, yes, purple is my favorite color. And I just feel like, because I've tried other colors. I've had my hair completely like platinum blonde. I've had it gray. I've had it pink, like everywhere. I've had these money pieces green. I've had them blue. I've had them blue and purple, like whatever. I've always just resonated like with purple. Like, I just feel like it just looks really, I feel like it looks really good on me. Like, I just feel like really confident with this color on, but also like, I don't know, I'm a very spiritual person. So like, I just feel like it matches my aura. I would say, I don't know. I just feel really connected to the color purple, and I feel like it's kind of like a statement. One of my favorite things about it is for the past 3 years, I've worked with kids, like in a kindergarten class, and they love it. And they always, always, always would draw pictures of me. And it was so easy, like, it's me because they're drawing like my money pieces, and like they're drawing like if I'm wearing lipstick, I'm wearing lipstick. Like they that's how they knew me. Like they loved my purple hair and they would draw it, and I just thought that was the most precious thing in the world. I've kept almost every single picture that has been drawn of me by those kids because it's just so precious, and it makes me feel like I can't change like the color, or I can't not have colored hair because I'm like, they're gonna forget me. What if I see them and I'm like, you remember me? And they don't remember me because I don't have purple hair anymore. I don't know. But yeah, I just love it. I don't know. I don't feel like I also like to I just like to be different, not in like an attention seeking way, but I just like to feel like I have something that's mine, that like, not that I'm the only person with purple hair, like everybody, like there's so many people with purple hair and like stuff like that, but I feel like it's a part of like self-expression. Like I feel like that's why I get the tattoos that I get, or whatever. Like, speaking of tattoos, I can move on to the next question. It says, will there be a tattoo story time? And fuck it, why not? We can do a tattoo story time. I don't have a lot, but I have a few, and I think they're pretty cool. I'll go ahead. I've done it on TikTok before, but it was like a minute, but I can go in on them. So I guess I can start like chronologically with my first one. So my first one is this heart right here, and it has the initial CNB. Those are my grandma's initials. I got them a year after she passed away because we were super close. She was like my best friend. And I was like, I need her with me all the time. So I got that. My second one is just kind of random. It's this. And it's got like a crescent moon and a rose. And it's kind of inspired from like Sailor Moon. And I had the movie on VHS, The Promise of the Rose by Sailor Moon. The Sailor Moon movie, The Promise of the Rose. And it's kind of like that vibe. But it says La vie est belle. So that's life is beautiful in French. And my mom's really into French stuff and like France. And that's like her favorite quote. So I was just like, slap it on. Whatever. So that's why that's there. These are like the elements, and like I said, I'm like spiritual, so it has to do with my one of my oracle card decks. Like I do like card readings. It's like tarot, but like it's the elements like earth, fire, water, air, fire, water, earth, and then the circle represents like the spirit realm. And on the topic of oracle cards and decks and spirituality, this one, it's we call it a celestial fox. It's just like there's a specific card that has that on it, but it's also the back of the card, so it's kind of like it's that fox. So that's that one. I don't feel like lifting up my shirt on camera, so it's I have the flower of life. If you look that up, I have that on my sternum. And I have a beach scene on my thigh, and I was really drunk with my ex-boyfriend and two of his friends. We were at the beach once, and we got really drunk, and one of the girl we were with was like, I want to get a tattoo today. And we were drunk, so we were like, let's all get one. And we got a matching one, and it's like it's a beach scene, but it looks like a stamp. Like, I don't know if, it's actually inspired off of, like, there's this band called Chon. If you look that up, I think there's an album cover that has, like, a beach scene. That's kind of what it looks like. But it also, from far away, it looks like a hamburger on my thigh. So, Yeah, that's a memory. That's something. But that's about it, I think. This last question, it says, what about the punk movement resonates with you the most, musically, socially, etc.? I love this question. I think that's such a super cool question. So I believe that like the punk movement and like when was that, like in the 70s when that all began, like the I know it has to do with anarchy through art. So it was a very like fuck the system, like rebellious movement. And there was art and there was installments and there was music born out of that and out of that mindset. So it's like I just love things that dare to be different and people that dare to be different. And that's why, like, you know, there was like a whole style born out of that. It's like society expects you to be a certain way and to fit a certain mold, but punk does the opposite and is like, yeah, I'm gonna do my hair like this, I'm gonna dress like this, I'm gonna sing about this, even if it makes you uncomfortable, or um, I'm not gonna comply with your standards. Like, I'm gonna be different. And I really love that. And um, I know I don't really like listen to like punk rock. Like, I listen to music that was born from punk rock. It gave birth to so many subgenres like pop punk and emo and uh, post hardcore and hardcore music and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just like you like what you like. And I feel like punk was very much about that. Like, and people came together because they liked what they liked, but they also found community in that. And like, I'm not like a historian, I'm not an expert on like the punk movement or like when it started and all that, but I like the gist of that. Like, and I know it was way more hardcore than I will ever be. And like, yes, like, I know some people, I think they get upset like when people like they dress the part or like they have a punk style and they but they don't know anything about like the movement and what punk is all about, and like, you know, they're just like stealing the style. But I'm like, I just feel like if something, if you like what you like and you want to experiment with something or you want to like express yourself in a certain way, like you should be allowed to do that. And you are allowed to do that. Like, I feel like people should ignore like what any expectations that people have about them, and they should just do whatever the hell they want. Like, I'm very passionate about like doing whatever you want and being yourself authentically, you liking what you like, even if it's so taboo or so like, you know, so outside of what society expects. Like, there's a quote, I made like a vision board and there's this quote on it actually that I really love. And it said okay, the quote is oh, and it's by Jodie Foster. It says, normal is not something to aspire to, it's something to run away from. And I feel like that is that kind of like explains what we're talking about here. Like, you know, and that's what I admire so much about like punk. And like, you know, even like back then, like when I was like in middle school and high school and I was listening to like, you know, like pop punk, like sad boy shit, like I got made fun of a lot, you know, listening to like whiny stuff, or like people would make fun of me. Like, I would like hide the fact that I liked certain bands, like so that I could be cool and I could be accepted and stuff. But and it's sad. I do wish like I could have embraced that more and was more authentically myself, because I spent like so much time being so insecure about myself and like being so inauthentic to please others. But I think really like everyone kind of goes through that. But it takes work to to be you without caring what anybody thinks about you. And me and Darian Gerard from my last episode, she and I really talked about that, like how you really just gotta be you, and you literally won't reach your dreams unless you stop caring about what others think of you, because they're not the ones living your life. You're the one that's enjoying what you enjoy and doing what you want to do, and only you can kick yourself after because you didn't do what you wanted to do because you care what someone else thought. I'm like, I feel like I went in circles there. I feel like I didn't make sense, but somebody will get it. Like, it'll make sense. Thank you so much if you watched this. I kind of took a little bit of a risk here, doing this by myself, and not having somebody to kind of bounce off of and just like chat with the audience here. Like, I thought it would be really fun, and I'm really grateful for everybody that's been supporting this podcast and supporting my projects and stuff. It means so much. So thank you to everyone that sent in a question. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this format. Maybe I'll do it again. Maybe I'll do another Q&A. If you guys want to see that. If it's like boring and lame and it sucks, like, let me know too. But yeah, if you watched and you got to this point, thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next episode.